welcome everyone to today's in-depth webinar on E-Invoice Belgium, new mandates and ViDA. The aim of this session is to guide you through the latest Belgian e-invoicing requirements, how they link to the European Commission's VAT in the digital age, ViDA reforms, and most importantly, how your businesses should do to be compliant and future ready. Over the past decade, the European Union has steadily tightened digital invoicing rules. The 2014-55 EU directive introduced mandatory e-invoicing for public procurement across member states, requiring a common semantic data model defined by EN 16931. So this standard ensures that invoices are machine readable, interoperable, and structured for automation. Now, through ViDA, these principles extend well beyond the public sector. The EU wants structured e-invoices and real-time reporting to become the default for all B2B cross-border transactions in the coming years. Belgium is moving ahead for many other member states with its own national deadline in 2026 and 2028. So during today's webinar, here's what we will cover in detail. One, the invoice. What is invoice versus e-invoice? What's the real difference? Secondly, Belgium's transition roadmap. So 2026, Peppol for corner mandatory, and 2028, at that time, Peppol 5 corner with real-time reporting. Thirdly, the EU's ViDA initiative and how it reshapes VAT collection. For the role of Peppol in this transition. And 5, a readiness checklist for Belgian businesses. 6, how to run e-invoicing inside SAP with the Melasoft add-on. And finally, a Q&A session where we'll address your questions directly. So let's begin. Section 1, invoice versus e-invoice. So Moritz, before we dive into the technical details later, can you start with the basics? What's the actual difference between a standard invoice and an e-invoice?
Of course I can do that, Mohammed. Let's take a step back for a second. And so an invoice, in its traditional sense, it's simply a record of a commercial transactions. So it's the proof that something was sold and payment is due. It usually includes like seller and buyer details, description of goods and services, quantities, unit price, VAT rates, and totals, and then of course payment terms.
So, in other words, that's the classic invoice we've all seen, the one in your inbox as a PDF or printed for the accounting vendor.
Exactly. So for decades, companies have been sending those either printed on paper or more recently as a PDF attachment to an email, as probably many of you in the audience have also received. And while those PDFs look digital, they are really just pictures of information. So you and I can read them, but computers can't understand them. That's the key limitation. So that they're not machine readable. So what happens? So accounting teams type data manually into the systems or use an OCR, the invoice numbers, amounts, VAT codes, and which takes time and introduces human errors. And from a compliance perspective, tax authorities can't perform any automated checks on those PDFs.
Right. So even though it's electronic, it's not really digital in the true sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's where e-invoicing changes everything. And an e-invoice isn't just a digital copy. It's a structured, machine-readable data file. Think like an XML or UBL or in a JSON format. And instead of text or images, every element, like the buyer's VAT number, invoice total, and line item details, is stored in a consistent data field. So these formats follow European standards such as EN 16931, so that invoices from one system can be automatically be understood by another.
That sounds a bit technical. Can you give us a simple real-world examples?
Yeah, sure. Let's imagine we have like two companies. Company A sends a PDF invoice by email, and then we have Company B who sends the e-invoice, so in an XML e-invoice through the Peppol network. Company's A's invoice arrives as an attachment in an email. Someone in the accounting has to open it, read it, and re-enter the numbers, and then if you now look at the company's B's e-invoice, on the other hand, it directly lands in the customer's ERP system. So the system reads the XML automatically, checks that totals match the purchase orders, validates the VAT, and posts it to the ledger. So no manual steps, and then you can automate further things. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's faster and probably less error prone.
Yeah, exactly. So let me break down some of the 4 key advantages of e-invoicing. So firstly, automation, end-to-end digital processing for issuing and archiving, for issuing, receiving, and archiving. And then in the second, we have validation. So systems can automatically verify totals, VAT rates, and mandatory fields. And then on the third is compliance, of course, because the data is structured, it can be reported directly to the tax authorities, sometimes even in real time. And then fourth is interoperability. So different systems like SAP, Oracle, Xero, or small ERPs can all talk to each other through common standards like Peppol.
And of course, I guess governments love that compliance part, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So across Europe, authorities are moving toward real-time or near real-time reporting. With e-invoices, they can validate the transactions automatically. No need to wait for end-of-month summaries or manual uploads. That's why countries like Italy, France, Poland, Belgium are rolling out national e-invoicing mandates. But it's not only about control, it also reduces the VAT fraud and improves transparency in cross-border trade.
Oh, okay. So if a company in Belgium sends a PDF by email, that's not considered an e-invoice, right?
Yes, totally correct. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions we see often, is that PDF, even if it's sent electronically, it is not an e-invoice under EU law. A valid e-invoice must be transmitted in a structured format like XML or UBL, usually through a certified network such as Peppol. And when that happens, both your customer's system and the tax authority can process and verify the same data automatically. So it's completely digital and no manual touch points on that process. Yeah.
Thank you. So to summarize, it's not about how the invoice looks. It's about how the data travels and how smart it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the essence behind it. With the e-invoicing, invoices stop being static documents and become data flows that connect businesses and governments directly. So for companies, that means less paperwork, faster payments, and fewer errors. For governments, it means accurate, real-time insights into the economy. And of course, VAT fraud detection as well. And then, so when we talk about digital transformation in finance, this is one of the clearest examples, turning paper processes into automated, compliant data exchange.
All right, so that's a great overview, Moritz. It really clarifies how e-invoicing and is not just a digital PDF, but also a structured process. I think that's where most companies get confused, and it's interesting how something as simple as switching PDF to structured XML can transform automation. I guess that's where the biggest efficiency gains come from, right?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And we will also touch on how networks like Peppol make it much more easier to connect different systems, and that you can stay compliant.
Yeah. So when we look across Europe, Belgium seems to be one of the front runners in the e-invoicing adoption. Yeah, this is. Can you walk us through what's actually happening there, and what's the timeline?
Yeah, absolutely. So Belgium has taken a very proactive stance. So instead of waiting for the EU-wide regulations to come into effect, the Belgium government decided to move ahead with its own timeline. So yeah, it's quite ambitious. Essentially, there are two major phases to keep in mind in Belgium. Yeah, that's.
Okay, so step by step, what happens first?
Yeah. So when you look at the first big milestone, it's coming very soon. It's coming already in January 1st, 2026. And from that date, all businesses, all business to businesses, B2B companies, transactions between Belgian VAT registered companies must be issued as a structured electronic invoice, and those must be exchanged through the Peppol network. So what that means in short is that PDF or paper invoices will no longer have any legal status. However, companies may still send a PDF copy for reference. So for example, for internal use or to show the layout to a customer, but a legally valid document is the structured Peppol invoice, e-invoice. Yeah.
So in practice, if I'm a company in Brussels and I sell a PDF invoice to another business, even by email, it's not valid anymore after 2025.
Yeah, exactly. That's the key point. So the structured XML or UBL file sent through Peppol will be the only version recognized by the Belgian tax authority as an official invoice. And this applies to all companies with a Belgian VAT number, whether they're small local businesses or large international groups operating in Belgium. So the transition affects everyone, from one-person consultancies to big manufacturers.
And that's quite a big shift in a short amount of time. What happens in the second phase?
Yeah, so in the second major milestone, that is in January 1st, 2028, by then Belgium will introduce what's known as the five-corner model, a new architecture that adds real-time e-reporting into the mix. I can share an image of it, by the way. 1 second. It's maybe easier to understand than if I have it open. The five-corner model, yeah, that's the one. So let me explain briefly how it works. Right now, Peppol operates as a four-corner model, meaning the supplier system sends the invoice to their Peppol access point, and then that access point connects through the Peppol network to the buyer's access point, and then the buyer system receives and processes it. The government isn't part of any exchange today. They might only receive aggregated VAT reports later. So under the five-corner model, the tax authority becomes the fifth corner, an active participant in every transaction.
I say the government will basically see the invoices as they are happening.
Yes, exactly. So each invoice sent through Peppol will also be validated and reported in near real time to the Belgium tax authority. And this means that businesses won't need to submit separate VAT listings. Authorities can detect anomalies like missing VAT numbers or mismatched totals. And then also it's for fraud prevention. But it becomes more efficient. And it's a big step toward transparency, but it also is a step toward automation and simplified compliance.
So I imagine I will leave this question to the next section because it is related to next section. I imagine the government main goal here is to control and efficiency, right? Like,
yeah.
But what about the businesses themselves? Like, what's in it for them?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's important to highlight that it isn't just about the compliance. There's a clear benefit for businesses too. So it reduces administrative burden. So no more manual submitting VAT summaries or handling invoice disputes because of missing fields. Fewer audits, of course, since tax data is available continuously. Fewer random checks are needed. Faster processing and payments, so you can create automated workflows. Mean invoices get approved and paid more quickly. And then, of course, if you are doing cross-border trade, it simplifies it. So once you're if you're Peppol compliant, you can easily exchange invoices with partners across EU.
It sounds like a win-win. But I know some businesses are worried about about being ready on time. Do you think 2026 is realistic?
Yeah, but only if businesses start preparing now. So many companies still assume this is something they can deal with in 2025, so this year. But the reality is implementation and testing takes time. So what you need to do, register for Peppol access, ensure your ERP or accounting software supports structured formats, and then train the staff on the new process. So so the earlier start, the smoother the transition.
Yeah. Just to put this in context, how does Belgium's timeline compare with what's happening around the EU level?
Yeah, so at the EU level, the European Commission's ViDA initiative, what also stands for VAT in a digital age, or in the digital age, sets out the framework for digital reporting and e-invoice across all member states. So the EU's target date for making e-invoicing mandatory is around 2030. So Belgium is moving a full 2 years ahead of a EU-wide rollout. And that means that Belgian companies have to act sooner than many European peers. But the upside is that they will be fully aligned and ready long before everyone else.
So Belgium is like setting the example for the rest of Europe, a testing ground in a way.
Yeah, exactly. So the Belgium's model will likely influence how other EU countries implement their systems. So the five-corner model and the integration with Peppol might even become the template for future EU-wide digital reporting. So in many ways, Belgian companies are not just adapting, they're helping define the future of e-invoicing in Europe.
And that's good, right? So to recap, we have 2026 structured invoicing via Peppol becomes mandatory. 2028, the five-corner model introduces near real-time reporting, and all this puts Belgium ahead of the EU's 2030 goal, right?
Exactly. So, and if we look at the key takeaways for businesses is also don't wait, start testing your systems and Peppol connections now or get one. And it's not just about compliance, it's about getting ahead, improving efficiency, and getting ready for a fully digital financial ecosystem.
So, Moritz, we just talked about Belgium's roadmap, 2026 for mandatory e-invoicing and 2028 for real-time reporting. But Belgium isn't alone there. The EU itself has a broader plan, right? So, can you explain what ViDA actually is and how it ties to all of this?
Yeah, absolutely. So ViDA, as I already said, stands for VAT in the Digital Age, is a European Commission's flagship initiative to completely modernize how VAT is administered across Europe. So the idea is simple, make VAT management more digital, efficient, and transparent for both governments and businesses. And then ViDA rests on three main pillars, and each one represents a major change in how companies will operate across the EU.
Three pillars. Okay, let's go through them one by one, if you don't mind.
So the first pillar and the most relevant to today's topic is digital reporting and e-invoicing. So here's kind of what's planned for that pillar. So mandatory e-invoicing for all cross-border B2B transactions within the EU, and near real-time digital reporting for those intra-EU transactions. So whenever a company in, say, Germany sells to a company in France, that invoice will have to be structured. It will have to be in a structured format, XML, UBL, and automatically reported to both tax administrations within seconds.
So instead of filling quarterly summaries, each invoice will be reported instantly.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the biggest changes. So today, most countries still rely on periodic VAT returns, quarterly, monthly, reports. With ViDA, tax authorities will have like transaction level visibility almost immediately after an invoice is issued. They will be able to see it, and it's similar to what Belgium plans nationally for 2028. But ViDA takes that model, that EU-wide model for cross-border trade. Yeah.
What about the second pillar? I've heard it has something to do with platforms like Uber and Airbnb.
Yeah, exactly. So the second pillar focuses on VAT rules for the platform economy. So that's marketplaces, ride-sharing apps like you said, Uber, short-term accommodation platforms, and similar services. So the goal is to ensure that VAT is applied consistently across digital platforms. Right now, in some cases, VAT responsibilities are unclear. It is it is the driver, the host, or the platform that's responsible. And it's pretty unclear. So ViDA clarifies that a lot. and platforms will often be treated as if they are the deemed supplier, meaning they will be responsible for collecting and remitting VAT on behalf of their users, and this helps to create a level playing field and ensures fair taxation across traditional and digital business models.
Makes sense. It's a big modernization effort, not only for invoices, but for the whole digital economy.
Yeah, exactly. So that also brings us to the third pillar, the single VAT registration, or SVR. So today, if a business sells across multiple EU countries, it often needs a separate VAT registration in each one. And that means multiple numbers, multiple filings, and a lot of extra unnecessary costs. So under the ViDA, a business will only need one EU VAT registration to operate cross-border. So everything will be managed through be managed through an expanded version of the one-stop shop portal, which already exists, but will be significantly broadened.
Yeah, that would be a huge simplification for companies selling across Europe, fewer registration and less paperwork.
Fewer. Yeah, it will lead to fewer registrations, fewer local intermediaries, and lower compliance cost. So it all supports the broader goal, making the EU single market more integrated and reducing the barriers for SMEs to trade cross borders.
Yeah. So now, how does all this tie back to Belgium? Are these completely separate initiatives, or do they overlap?
So they are deeply connected. So Belgium's national timeline, 2026 for mandatory e-invoicing, and then in 2028 for real-time reporting, actually aligns perfectly with the ViDA's objectives. But Belgium is simply moving faster. And we can put it like this, like ViDA setting the European standard, and Belgium is implementing that standard ahead of schedule. So Belgian companies preparing for 2026, 2028 deadlines are already taking the steps they will need later for ViDA compliance across the entire EU.
By complying with Belgium's rules now, businesses essentially getting a head start for the EU-wide system coming later.
That's true. Think of it as a 2-for-1 effort, you could say. So if you are ready for Belgium's structured e-invoicing via Peppol, and your systems are already capable of real-time reporting, then the ViDA becomes mandatory. And then when the ViDA becomes mandatory across the EU around 2030, you are already compliant. So plus your internal processes will be optimized and tested well in advance. So you will have 2 years of free testing, you could say.
Yeah, and beyond compliance, what's the bigger picture? What's the EU trying to achieve with all of this? I mean,
so the ultimate goal is to eliminate fragmentation. So right now, each member state has its own e-invoicing rules, formats, and platforms. And a company operating in 5 countries might need to 5 different systems. And ViDA introduces that, so a harmonized standard on the EN 16931 model. So invoices can move seamlessly across borders, and this means that leads to lower costs for companies that trade in multiple EU countries, easier integration between accounting and ERP systems, and better data quality for tax authorities, helping them to combat VAT fraud, which still costs EU's billions every year.
So it's about transparency, automation, and efficiency on a European scale.
Yeah, exactly. And it's worth noting that ViDA isn't just a regulatory change. It is a digital transformation opportunity. So it pushes companies to modernize their finance, their IT systems, automated workflows, and embrace real-time data exchange. In the long run, it will save time, reduce risks, and strengthen competitiveness.
That's a great overview, Moritz. So to summarize, ViDA has 3 pillars: digital reporting and e-invoicing, VAT rules for platforms, and single VAT registration. So Belgium's national rollout mirrors these goals, but moves faster, giving Belgian companies a head start towards EU-wide compliance.
Yes, that's exactly right, Mohammed. And the key takeaways for everyone listening is, even if you're preparing only for Belgium right now, you're already laying the groundwork for ViDA, with the future of VAT across Europe. Yeah.
So, okay, Moritz, we've already mentioned Peppol several times, but I think it would be great to take a step back for everyone new to the topic. What's exactly Peppol, and how does it actually work?
Great question. And it's so Peppol is really the engine that takes modern e-invoicing makes e-invoicing possible. So Peppol stands for Pan-European Public Procurement Online. It's quite a mouthful, but essentially it's both technical infrastructure and a set of standards that define how electronic business documents like invoices, orders, and credit notes are exchanged securely and consistently between organizations.
So it's not just a single website or portal.
No, exactly. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. So Peppol is not a central platform owned by one company or government. Think of it more like a secure digital postal network, you could say. Just as postal services connect different countries and carriers, but everyone still follows the same rules to deliver a letter. Peppol connects different businesses, accounting systems, and public administration under one common standard. If we look at how I could explain a bit about the infrastructure and how exactly Peppol works. So at its core, Peppol is a secure network that allows organizations to exchange structured electronic documents. But to join this network, you don't connect directly. You do this through what's called an access point, or AP for short.
Okay, so what's an access point exactly? Is it like your entry ticket to the Peppol world?
That's a good way to put it. So an access point provider acts as your gateway to the Peppol network. And so if you're a sender, your access point takes your e-invoice, validates it, and sends it securely into the network. And then on the other side, the recipient's access point receives the invoice, checks it, and delivers it straight into their system. So you can think of, for example, for Peppol, it is a four-corner model. So it starts with the sender, the sender's access point, the recipient's access point, and then to the recipient. So four. And each corner communicates using the same standards. So data can travel from one system to another seamlessly, regardless of which software you use.
Sounds elegant. So Peppol makes sure that two different ERPs, say SAP or Oracle, can still understand each other.
Yeah, that's the magic of standardization. So Peppol defines not just the routes, but also the document format, mostly based on UBL or XML. And this means that when you send e-invoice, every field like the supplier name, VAT numbers, or line item amount sits in a clearly defined structure. And this ensures total interoperability across borders and systems.
So you mentioned the four-corner model, but earlier you said something about a five-corner model coming soon. What's that about?
I talked a bit about it, not explained it yet. So that's a good question. So the five-corner model builds on the existing Peppol structure, but adds one more participant to the tax authority. And it works like this. So it starts, of course, with the sender, then the sender's access point, the tax authority, the recipient access point, and then the recipient. And this means that every invoice will be validated and reported to a tax authority in real time before it's finalized for VAT purposes.
The five-corner mode, like the government actually see each invoice as it moves through the network.
Exactly. That's the model Belgium is moving toward by 2028. So it's the foundation for near real-time reporting. So the benefit is good. So tax authorities get instant visibility. Fraud becomes much harder, and businesses no longer have to file separate VAT summaries or listings because the data is already there.
So let's tie this back to Belgium. How soon is Peppol in the Belgian rollout?
Yeah, so it's absolutely at the center, I would say. From January 1st, 2026, every B2B invoice between Belgian VAT registered companies must be issued and exchanged through Peppol, and paper and PDF invoices will no longer be legally valid, though you can still share them as a visual copy if you like. And then by 2028, and with the five-corner model in place, every invoice will also be validated and reported in real time. So Peppol isn't just like a technical option; it becomes the official pathway to compliance.
For a Belgian business, connecting to Peppol is basically the ticket also of doing business legally after 2026.
And the good news is businesses don't need to build the connection themselves. They can work with a certified Peppol access point provider like Melasoft, who handles the connectivity, security, and compliance for them.
Since you mentioned Melasoft, what's in there for companies like That's exactly, I think, where companies like Melasoft come in, right?
Microsoft is a certified Peppol access provider. So that means we connect businesses directly to the Peppol network, so they can send and receive invoices securely without worrying about the technical setup or compliance details. And we handle the validation of invoices against the Peppol standard, error handling, and delivery tracking, and secure transmission, so invoices reach their destination reliable. So in short, we make sure your invoices flow smoothly through the network, whether you are sending to a Belgian partner or to any Peppol connected organization in Europe.
So let's just call it Microsoft takes care of the plumbing. Businesses just need to focus on their business, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we think that's how it should be. So our goal is to make e-invoicing as simple as sending an email, but fully compliant and secure under EU's and Belgian law. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's a great overview, Moritz. Thank you. So to recap, Peppol is a secure network and a set of standards. Access points are the gateway that connects businesses to that network. The four corner model is what we use today, and the five corner model is with real time reporting is what's coming next. And by 2026 in Belgium, Peppol will be mandatory for all B2B transactions.
Yep, I would say that's a perfect summary. If you remember one thing from this section, it's this. So Peppol is, I would say Peppol is not just a tool, it's the digital highway that connects businesses and governments across Europe. That's, a short summary of Peppol.
So moving to compliance and readiness, since this is one of the most important things of our webinar. Moritz, what should companies do today, in short?
I can give you a practical checklist. Let's start with the first one. Assess the current processes. So identify whether you're still relying on PDFs or scans. Evaluate whether your ERP system can generate structured XML UBL files. And then, of course, integrate with Peppol. So Belgium mandates Peppol for 2026. So it would be a good idea to begin testing connections now. And then as well, I would say plan for real-time reporting. So by 2028, invoices will need to report it to the tax authority as they're issued. And also look at data quality, ensure customer VAT numbers and products codes and tax treatments are clean and consistent. And then in your organization, assign clear roles between the IT, the finance, and the compliance teams, so everybody knows what's happening. And then for your suppliers and customers, I would do an onboarding. So start sharing Peppol IDs, running pilot transactions, and building confidence before deadlines. And then, of course, the last part, technology partner selection. So you need to work with an approved access point provider like Microsoft to minimize these complexity.
That's a great checklist. It makes it sound very manageable, and when you break it down into steps. So let's now look at how this readiness translates practically inside SAP. which many of our attendees use. So how can they manage this change inside their ERP, especially for SAP users?
So we at Melisoft, we offer a Melisoft SAP add-on. It's a native extension for SAP that handles the entire e-invoicing lifecycle. So the integration works fully inside SAP. No need to leave the ERP environment. Cockpits, so a dedicated dashboard for both incoming and outgoing invoices. We have a mapping, so users can configure how SAP table fields map to XML UVL fields without custom AP development. And then validation. We have a built-in checks against the EN 16931 requirements, and then security operates. Our SAP add-on operates in its own namespace, so your SAP core tables remain untouched, and sensitive data never leaves your SAP system. And then, of course, scalability adapts. It adapts to the future changes, including Belgium's 2028 reporting model and EU ViDA requirements. So, I can give you an example. A multinational company running SAP can issue structured invoices directly from SAP, transmit them via Peppol, track delivery status, log audit evidence, all without leaving SAP. So this saves time, reduces errors, and ensures full compliance.
Perfect. This is exactly what many businesses are looking for today. So it's a way to stay fully compliant without leaving SAP. It's great to see that the add-on already anticipates also the future models like the 2028 Five Corner and ViDA. All right. So thank you, Moritz. I think this gives our audience a full picture. Let's move to some questions from the participants I've gathered during the session. All right. So we have the first question. After 2026, can I still send PDF invoice to my business partners in Belgium?
You can send a PDF copy for reference, but only a structured e-invoice will be legally valid for B2B. So compliance requires using Peppol and EN 16931 standards. So yeah.
All right. So another question is about the public sector. What about the public sector?
Yeah, so e-invoicing is already mandatory for Belgian public contracts. So especially those in published after March, I think it was 2024, suppliers to government should already be using structured invoices, as far as I know.
Okay, and another question: what benefits can my business expect?
It reduces administration costs, fewer errors, faster payment cycles, and full compliancy, of course. And in the long run, it improves cash flow and reduces audit risks.
Right. Okay. So another question regarding SMEs. What should SMEs focus on?
For SMEs, the priority is to pick a Peppol-ready provider. Start small with pilot projects. Use standard templates and avoid custom setups that increase costs. Yeah, that's.
How does Peppol help with ViDA?
Peppol provides the secure and standardized infrastructure for that ViDA relies on. So by using it, now you can align with both Belgium national rules and future EU-wide requirements.
Yeah, I got one last question, a bit technical. What if an invoice fails delivery?
Yeah. So when the system, our system retries automatically and logs every status. So sent, received, accepted, or rejected. So keeping that full audit trail is key for compliance as well. Yeah. So you will know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Moritz, thank you for sharing your expertise today. I will recap from the 1st of January 2026. Belgium will require all B2B invoices to be structured e-invoices sent via Peppol. From 2028, Belgium will adopt the 5-corner model with real-time reporting. And ViDA is driving a broader EU-wide shift with harmonized digital reporting requirements expected by 2030. So this means preparing now is not just about Belgium. It's about future-proofing your compliance across the entire EU. With solutions like Melasoft, Access Point Service, and the SAP add-on, businesses can meet these challenges securely and efficiently. So thank you for attending, and we look forward to see you in our next webinar.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, thank you for being able to talk. Great. Yeah, see ya. Bye.
Bye.